Dear students of class 9A and 9B, welcome to this class for civics. Today only one lesson which was left to be taught, I am going to complete its teaching. Then syllabus for the entire lesson, the teaching as per the syllabus of the entire lesson will be completed. Teaching from the history already I completed. Now one lesson was left from civics, that will be taught to you. Then teaching of civics also will be over. And one lesson was there, that was local self-government. It was not, it was omitted from the syllabus. I did not make it. Now I am telling you, no need to study the lesson, the local self-government. It is not included in your syllabus. Okay, so up to the election commission. So there will be 2 lessons from civics, and all the lessons of history, you know, there are 3 lessons from civics in your book. Out of 3, I had chosen 2 lessons as a part of your syllabus. So this is the last lesson I am going to teach you. The election commission and the elections. The election commission and the elections. You know what is election commission? You know, some points are there I have mentioned. Please look at it. The point number 1, meaning of constituency. Number 2, the election process. Number 3, role of media in election campaign. And number 4, universal adult franchise. Topic is the election commission and elections, chapter number 3. Now, first point, meaning of constituency. Meaning of constituency. Now I am going to teach you. What is the meaning of constituency? Meaning of constituency. Now I am going to teach you. You know, in order to conduct elections, the entire country is generally broken into some small parts, and each part is known as a constituency. Now it is done in order to make their work more and more easier. For that reason, that process has been followed by the election commission. Each constituency has a population that elects representatives to the parliament or to the state legislative assembly. This is election, this is the meaning of constituency. You know, the meaning of constituency means population, equal population. That means the constituency that during the period of elections, whether it is parliamentary election or a state election, the election commission needs to divide constituencies into different units as far as possible with an approximately equal population. Is known as constituencies. A constituency is a well-defined territorial area which is required at the time of elections to elect their representatives. Now, there are some separate constituencies for the assembly elections. There are some separate constituencies for the parliamentary elections. The constituencies, the parliamentary election being much bigger in size as compared to those for the state assembly elections. So this is about constituency. Now the electoral process. Next point, the electoral process. What is electoral process? What type of system is followed during the time of electoral process? The election commission first of all prepares voters list. The election commission prepares voter list in order to make sure free and fair election. The election commission scrutinize the voter list, the previous voter list is declared to be null and void because some voters' names also are there. The Election Commission looks into the matter whether there is extra name, the name of the voters who are no more, whether their names are included. In that case, the Election Commission omits their names from the voters list, and the new voters' names also are included in the voter list. So, fresh voter list is published by the Election Commission before the vote, and apart from this, the Election Commission prepare electoral rules. The Election Commission prepare electoral rules and get them revised before every names of those who have turned 18 years of age or above. And next one, the electoral roll. The electoral roll is not the electoral roll is actually a list of all people in the constituency who are registered to vote in Indian elections. Only those people who have their names registered in electoral roll or voters list are allowed to vote. And another electoral process of the Election Commission is to improve the accuracy of the electoral rolls and prevent electoral frauds. Sometimes some fraud voters are there who may cast votes in favor of their political party. A number of fraud voters may be, fake voters or fraud voters may be there. So it is the first and foremost duty of the Election Commission and their agents and the electoral officers or regional officers or polling booth officers to find out them and to get them out of the polling booths. So this is the Election Commission ordered the making of a photo identity card to each and every voter. Voter card are required to be produced before the polling booth officer before casting vote. Each and every candidate, each and every voter has to produce his or her voter's identity card to the concerning officers so that he or she can vote smoothly without being disturbed or objected by someone else. And another electoral process is to recognize political parties as political parties or regional parties on the basis of the votes received by them in the last elections. Apart from this, to allot election means apart from this, after the nomination, each and every candidate has to file their information in the nomination. So after the nomination have been filed, the nomination papers go through for scrutiny, and an independent checking is done by the returning officer. And whenever that work is done, whenever the process of scrutiny is over, the candidates are given a fixed date. The candidates are given a date for withdrawing their names. And once the withdrawal date is over, the process of campaigning started by the candidates. Another point is that Election Commission always tries to give recognition to each and every political party. As I mentioned earlier, Election Commission allots election symbols to various political parties. Election Commission, is also responsible for hearing and settling all disputes with regard to such symbols. Election Commission is supposed to supervise the election machinery throughout the country so as to ensure free and fair election throughout the whole country. And it is the duty of Election Commission, it is the duty of the returning officer to scrutinize the nomination paper, as I mentioned earlier, and each candidate and the nomination of any candidate with incomplete and invalid papers is rejected by the commission. The candidates have to be careful from time to time so that he can submit nomination paper without committing any mistake, and genuine, qualified and educated candidates generally do not commit this kind of mistakes. If once nomination paper is cancelled, then the candidate has to face some problems. And to scrutinize the election expenses incurred by the candidate during the election process, this is another most important part. The nomination of a candidate is declared invalid if he or she found to have made illegal use of expenses, means by provoking the voters, by offering them a huge amount of money that you please mentioning that to vote in favor of him or her. In that case, the election commission takes immediate action against the candidate. So a candidate seeking election to a Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha seat may spend near about, it is not a part of your book, but still for your extra knowledge I am telling you, for about 25 lakhs to 10 lakhs. 25 and 10 lakhs of rupees respectively during election, okay, for Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha. Lok Sabha for 25 lakhs and Vidhan Sabha for 10 lakhs. And the maximum amount of money they can spend as per the norms of the election commission. Another is that the election commission is supposed to conduct the elections. Free election without is supposed to conduct free and fair election, and the election commission cancel polls in case of large scale rigging, in case of irregularities, in case of violence during the election process. The election commission can cancel any polls and can declare further election over there. So this is about the electoral process of the election commission, electoral process. And next point, my dear students, next point is role of media in election campaign. What role does a media play? What role does the media play in the election? The media can play an important role during the time of election. The media is the source of inspiration. In a democracy, the media's role is very important. The media can communicate a message to the people that that electing a candidate is very important for the all-round development of a country. The media can inspire the people to choose proper candidate so that they can be helpful by them. The candidate assures whatever he or she assures before election, that effect comes in the next election. That means it is depending on his performance, whether the candidate was able, on being elected by the voters, he was able to fulfill their needs and expectation within 5 years. If the candidate fails on being elected as their representative to fulfill their aims and expectations, in that case, next time the voters do not cast votes in favor of that very person. That is the reason the media sometimes alerts the people. Media gets them alert whether they were going to make any mistakes, in order to encourage them properly, so that they can cast their valuable vote correctly in favor of a candidate who is really perfect candidate. Sometimes media encourages them to choose it properly. Media, regarding various political parties and candidates based on the personal learnings. To avoid this, there should be rules and guidelines of the election commission. The media encourages people to follow it, encourage the candidates to follow it, so that citizens are fairly and objectively enlightened by the commissions, and no irregularity can take place. Only for that reason, the role of media is very important. It not only encourages the voters, but also it prevents the candidates of election for making wrong practices before election. Now, next point, universal adult franchise. What is universal adult franchise? In India, Constituent Assembly took a bold and courageous step by providing citizens 20 years of age as voters' age. Means a voter having 21 years of age were allowed to cast their votes. And it was done in the election, the first general election of our country in the year 1950. So after that, the Election Commission allowed candidates of 18 years of or above 18 years of age to be the voter of the elections. So they have obtained the right to cast votes, and at 18 years age or above 18 years of age, a voter is entitled to be the voters of elections and have the right to vote without any distinction of caste, race, religion, color, and gender. And this system is known as universal adult franchise. It is based on the principle and guidelines of one person, one vote, one value. For that reason, universal adult franchise throughout the country encourages this system encourages the voters. This system encourages the entire procedure of the Election Commission properly, and with this, the Election Commission, Election Commission conducts free and fair election throughout the country. Up to this, my dear students. Thank you.